Okay, so random thought. What happens if Johnny Storm flames on and he's standing next to Pyro?
If he's
I'm
standing
sure.
next to Pyro,
I'm sure this has happened. This had
uh
to have happened in a comic book somewhere. I mean, Pyro is a jobber. Let's not get it twisted. He's a
right.
jobber, but his ability is that he can manipulate fire, right? So Johnny Storm flames on next to Pyro. Does that enhance Pyro?
This is interesting shit, man. This might I have to look this up. If you're gonna look at it on paper, the Human Torch is basically not gonna be the Human Torch anymore if he's around Pyro.
I didn't even mean to interrupt you, but like, can Johnny Storm flame on without saying flame on?
Man, that's marketing right there. They gotta have some kind of he can do it without saying that shit, man. It's just
Like,
catchphrase and shit,
yeah,
man.
like remember in the very first Spider-Man, bro. You know what I'm saying? Toby Maguire on the rooftop. Go Web, go!
Yeah. What he said,
Hey,
Shazam. He said some other shit like that too.
yeah, but the Shazam, you see, that's a different conversation.
Uh-huh.
At least with Shazam, they explained a way in storyline to
Mm-hmm.
where he has to say that in order to level up. Like,
True.
was it ever established that Johnny Storm had to say "flame on" in order to flame on?
No. Never
'Cause-
established.
okay.
It's clobbering time, man. The thing come out time, man. It's
Oh
game
my
over. When he
god.
says, yo,
Like,
it's clobbering time, don't even show up, man. Just bow down. Because the thing
yeah.
got you, man.
All right, so yeah, back to what you were saying. Based off of that, yeah, then if that's where the conversation is really going, man, I think the team brings him down, man.
I think so. And I think that's gonna be something they're gonna have to work for the movie adaptation with the MCU. I think that's gonna be a very they're gonna have to tackle that in a different way. So we're gonna get Fantastic Four in MCU, but however they do it, it's gotta be done in a different way and capacity than they've done in the past. And especially with Reed Richards, they're gonna have to find a way to not just have him outright be the new Tony Stark, but also have him have his own unique capabilities and distinction and of intelligence where you don't want to basically have him come up and be like, oh, I'm better than Tony Stark, I'm more intelligent, because he technically is, but you also don't want him to just play second class to him either. And it's easy. It's easy to market Flame On. It's easy. It's clobbering time. That's easy. Invisible Woman is Phoenix Light. Cool.
Yeah, and this would be my next question then, right? So we talked about the natural progression of the X-Men and where they started and what it would look like in modern day. What does the Fantastic Four look like in 2020? Like, in what context can they really fit in? What pocket can they really fit into that hasn't necessarily been tapped into already? I think the fact that there's no real answer to that question is why all three of the live action movies weren't necessarily what they should have been. Like I said, I've seen the first two that they made. I'm sure you have too.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
as B movies during that time of summer releases, they were serviceable. I mean, it wasn't nothing life changing. Is there any replay value in it? Probably not. But it served a type of purpose for the
Hmm.
time that it came out, but it didn't make any impact. In part because those movies weren't sure what they were trying to be. And I know you still were trying to answer the question, but the first two Fantastic Four movies weren't sure on what it was they were trying to be. Were they trying to make Doctor Doom into Magneto because of 20th Century Fox? Were they trying to make the Fantastic Four into a type of dysfunctional family, or what were they trying to do? And then with the 2015 version, I have no idea what was going on there. You know what I mean? I have
Yeah.
no clue. Like, they were trying to be dark, but also trying to be a little bit science fictional. a little bit different with Michael B. Jordan and, rest in peace, Reggie Cathy as the
Mm-hmm.
father of him and Sue Storm. What does the Fantastic Four actually fit into to be
Mm-hmm.
able to make an impact?
First of all, we know we can't make them a family sitcom. That's not gonna work.
Nope.
Like the way they did the first two films. I don't even know what Josh Trank was even going for in the 2015 version. That's an assessment onto its own.
Apparently,
That's
it
the
was the studio.
studio interference, man. That always sucks. If I were to vision the Fantastic Four, I'm not sure how would you intertwine it well with the MCU, but I think if you were to do it as them being kind of the space explorers. Now, the only problem with that is the Guardians, man. They already kind of got the spaceship down. And if you did it like in a possibly in a Prometheus, interstellar kind of way, keep them away from Earth, except when it may come to Doctor Doom or something like that. But
With that being said, what about time travel? Because it's already something that's been addressed in other movies. And I mean, we're talking about them being out of place. What if you address that by them actually being time travelers? The same way Captain America was, minus being frozen for X amount of years. What if
right.
they literally are in their time and then show up in a different time?
I have heard rumors of them kind of going that route in terms of being time travelers, a family out of place that can explain their quirkiness and give them a whole lot of kind of freedom as an explanation of why they're so kind of off. I think that that's also a good route. I don't know how you develop Doctor Doom out of that. A lot of people love the Avengers films out of all the character interactions. I think they would be interesting with the character interactions. I think you can make a little bit, maybe a little social commentary how shit has changed since the 60s. Maybe Doctor Doom was developing back in the 60s and now present day form, he's grew into something that they only know about. I don't know. I'm not sure how you would tackle their villains, but the Fantastic Four by themselves, I think a time traveling route would be kind of a way of them to get adapted into the MCU. I don't know how much weight they would hold because, I mean, again, we have the space exploration with Guardians. I mean, everything that they kind of cover is like kind of
Already
done
been
already.
covered.
It's already been
Mm-hmm.
covered. So it's like, what kind of
Mm-hmm.
new angle? I mean, could you really introduce the Fantastic Four into the foray of the MCU?
Yeah. Or again, is it a situation where, okay, my bad, another sidebar. So I've had this conversation with my brother. In terms of MCU, my brother views Guardians of the Galaxy as being the B team, right? I might disagree with him, but I mean, it is what it is. In terms of pecking order, like what can actually be done? Would you rather see the Fantastic Four as like a weekly episodic streaming type TV series where you get more time to develop characters, you get more time to build that relationship, kind of the same way that we did with like Netflix, Punisher, Luke Cage, everything like that, where there isn't as much pressure and expectation because there's more time for everything to develop?
Mm.
Or do you think it's a situation where the branding of the Fantastic Four requires live big screen movie treatment the same way Spider-Man did? Because I think it could go either way. Personally, like Fantastic Four wouldn't be bad, I think, as a streaming TV series. Personally, I don't. Like I
Mm-hmm.
will watch it and I think it would allow me more time to get into the mythos of every character and everything like that.
Okay.
Like what do you think?
I can definitely see that working. The only thing is, it's the Fantastic Fours. They got a package, man. They got a package of a lot of material on the outside. Like you said, the least interesting thing about the Fantastic Four is the Fantastic Four. If you want to look at what the package of what comes with them, so you miss out
Ah,
on Silver Surfer in the MCU. So you
yep.
miss out on Doctor Doom in the MCU. So you miss
Okay.
out on Galactus in the MCU or the
Mm,
Microverse in the
mm.
MCU. you miss out on a lot of these aspects that would be killer in the
Mm,
MCU. You put it on
mm.
TV,
I
it's
get,
not gonna be
yeah.
done justice. That shit sucks because the Fantastic Four would work fine for TV by
I get what
themselves.
I agree with that. Absolutely, it would work. And I mean, yeah, because now you got me thinking, man. Like, bro, like
Yeah, man.
you really got me thinking now. Because okay, so let's look at it in terms of context. And I probably don't use that word too many times, and probably in ways that it doesn't necessarily mean to be used. But
The listener will make a drinking game out of it. It's all good, man.
okay, all right, because I'm drinking right now anyway.
Yeah, same
Eh,
here.
well, okay. Hey,
Yeah, we good. Hey, we straight.
but anyway, like okay, so then this is a whole different segment. Let's branch off somewhere different here.
Let's
The
go.
Netflix MCU. The Netflix MCU did accomplish a couple things, and I mean, there's one big miscalculation. And this will come back to the Fantastic Four. So let's say you get your Fantastic Four series where you're streaming it, and
Mhm.
then you're introduced to a character like Silver Surfer, which is one of my favorite characters. You're introduced to Galactus, anything like that. And through the Fantastic Four, it branches off into its own series, the same way that the introduction to the Punisher on Daredevil opened the door for 2 seasons of a series there, or the
Okay.
same way that Luke Cage's introduction on Jessica Jones opened the
Hmm.
door for an introduction to Luke Cage and then 2 seasons on Netflix, right?
Makes sense.
But with that being said, though, I still don't think it would be done justice. Like, I would love to see a Doctor Doom TV series, quote unquote. But would it feel the same way? Would it have the same feel? Do you think that, for example, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Punisher, I think all of them are characters who are tiered on the same level to where you could get a TV series that's 13 episodes because a lot of people don't know about Luke Cage. A lot
Hmm.
of people don't know about Jessica Jones to where it's
Right.
almost like an education in addition to being entertained by a series that's 13 episodes on Netflix. For a character like Doctor Doom or Galactus or even a Silver Surfer, I get what you're saying. It wouldn't feel the same way watching that on a Disney Plus as opposed to seeing all of that play out on the big screen. I agree with that. I
Yeah.
think the streaming platforms are more reserved for characters like a Bucky, like a Falcon. Even though we haven't seen how those shows are gonna look, and I think they're gonna be pretty good. I think those are gonna be
Yeah.
amazing TV shows. But I get what you're saying, man. It's almost like big fish in a small pond.